Hello girls, in this video I am going to revise with you for end of term exam. I hope I can cover as much as I can in this video to be able to answer most of the questions coming tomorrow inshallah. Here in the first slide we focus on the some vocabulary and terminology that you need to be familiar with, like the difference between mass and weight, why chemists are interested in studying chemistry, define a model, explain why chemists use models to study matter, define scientific method. You can be familiar with this terminology and remember the meaning of each of them. For example, what is the difference between mass and weight? Mass is a measure that reflects the amount of matter, while weight is a measure of an amount of matter and also the effect of Earth's gravitational pull on that matter. 2. Why chemists are interested in studying changes in the world at the submicroscopic level. Submicroscopic level means why do you need to use microscope to study change in the world? This is because most of the changes that happen in our world are submicroscopic. Define a model. Model is a visual, verbal, or mathematical explanation of the experimental data. Why chemists use models to study submicroscopic matter? They use models because models allow chemists to understand difficult concepts that they cannot normally see. Define scientific method. Scientific method is a logical, systematic approach used in scientific studies. It's an organized process used by scientists to do research or to verify work done by others. Explain why ozone or how ozone forms. You know, girls, that ozone is O3. It's made of 3 oxygen atoms. Oxygen in atmosphere is made of 2 oxygen atoms, which is O2. O2, the molecules of oxygen will break apart by ultraviolet light into 2 separate oxygen atoms or individual oxygen atoms. So it's going to give 2 O. Each one of O bind with another O2, which is another oxygen molecule, to form O3, which is the ozone gas. Question 2. Explain why ozone is important. Ozone makes a layer above the atmosphere and help to protect the living organism from harmful radiation. O3 makes a layer above us and protect us from harmful radiation. So if harmful radiation falls on Earth, they will get trapped by the O3. Question 3. What are CFCs made of? CFCs is a short for chlorofluorocarbons. Means they are made of chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. Chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. Question 4. Compare between mass and weight. Mass is a measure of the amount of matter in an object, while the weight is the amount of matter and also the effect of Earth's gravitational pull on the Earth. Remember that the unit of mass is kilogram, while the unit of weight is Newton, which is a unit of force. And sometimes it's given a unit of kilogram into the gravitational field, which is measured in meter per second square. List the steps of scientific method. The scientific method of thinking involves making observation, proposing and testing hypotheses, and developing theories. What is an observation? Observation is the act of gathering information, means to collect information, and in science it involves a measurement. Information should have a measurement to be valid value. Question 7. Classify the following observation into qualitative or quantitative. What is the difference first? Qualitative information, it does not inform a value. So if I say the table is brown, the chair is comfortable, these are qualitative observation or information. But if I say that the table measures 70 centimeters into 1 meter, these are measurements. So if it has a measurement and the unit, it's a quantitative observation. If I say my bag weighs 2 kilograms, it's a quantitative observation. But if I say my bag is beautiful, this is qualitative observation. So here, color is qualitative, shape qualitative, temperature, I can say the temperature today is 25 degrees Celsius. So this is quantitative value. Pressure, quantitative. Volume, okay, that this tube can carry 25 centimeter cube of water. So volume is a quantitative measure. Time, I can say 60 seconds, 1 hour. It has a unit and a value. While the order, state are qualitative, mass and area are quantitative. Mass, if I say the book weighs 20 grams, so this is quantitative measure. The area of the football court is 20 meters square, so it has a unit and the value and should be considered as quantitative. We have a question here. Complete the following table by comparing among theory, scientific law, and hypothesis. Theory is a tested explanation for a set of observations, and it is supported by experiments. Scientific law is a statement that summarizes results of many observations and experiments. So if you got results of many observations and experiments and all of them are coincide, means they are related or equal, so this statement is considered as a scientific law. Hypothesis is a proposed explanation for an observation. It's not tested or supported by experiments. Hypothesis is just that you think about something or you predict something depending on your observation, but it's not proved or supported by experimental results. Now we need to move to another point. In any scientific investigation or experiment, there should be some variables. Some variables, we call them dependent, and the others, we call them independent or controlled. What is the difference between them? Dependent variable is the variable that you measure in an experiment. So if I'm going to measure something, you measure color, intensity, or you measure length, or you measure increase in mass, increase in weight, earth gravity, what you measure in any experiment is the dependent variable. Independent is a variable that you change. When you change the independent variable, it's going to make an equal change in the dependent variable. So the independent variable is a variable that you change in the experiment, while the dependent is the variable that you measure. Other variables which may affect your results and should be kept constant. Constant means that you should not change them in any experiment. We call these constant variable or fixed variables. Let's read this question. Student dissolved 5-gram sugar cube in 100 ml of water and measured speed of dissolving. He is measuring how fast the sugar is dissolving in water. And then the student repeated the experiment using 5 grams. So in both experiment, he used 5 grams of crystals. These are the controlled variables. So if I asked in the exam, what are the controlled variables? I will say mass of sugar crystal, because he did not change them. But in the second time, he used powdered sugar. So in the first experiment, he used sugar cube. In the second experiment, he used powdered sugar. So the particle size is a variable that he is changing in the experiment, that we call it the independent variable. So the independent variable here is the size of sugar cube. As a result of it changing the particle size, the time taken for dissolving will change. So the speed of dissolving, it was low when we used sugar cube. Means the sugar cube dissolved very slow in water. Yes, if it's in the form of a cube. If it's in the form of crystals, it's intermediate, means it's faster. If the sugar is powdered, it's very high. So as a result of it changing this independent variable, the dependent variable is changing also. So the speed of dissolving here is the independent variable, is the dependent variable. The independent variable is the particle size, and the speed of dissolving is the dependent, while the amount of water is controlled because it's constant, and also the amount of sugar is controlled.